Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. What you're seeing on the screen at the moment is my stats from the 2018 DLC first and the 2019 DLC second. I had a subscriber asking for me to show the stats, so here they are now. And today we go to Indianapolis to finish the regular season, so hopefully we can have a strong finish to the regular season. We had a rough one last episode in Darlington. Eric Almirola completely punted us, and he was fully on my mind coming into this episode as I just wanted to crash him, but hopefully we can get that chance to do that today. But Indianapolis, always a rough track for myself. Now, as you see, Fernando Alonso here in the car for us in Indianapolis. Fernando did drive for us, actually, one race last season at Watkins Glen, and he also won that race, so he did a great job. I think that was our first win of the season when he won last season for us now, but as he came down the back straightaway, sitting P15 wasn't the best, and he would work his way forward, sure enough, up into the 10th position or so as he went down towards turns 1 and turns 2, but once he got to P10, he really struggled to move his way forwards as he would just kind of stay around this area. He would move up to P8 as he was coming through turns 4 in the last turn, on the last corner, on the last lap, I should say, as he ran into big issues as he goes around for a big spin and even got airborne for a brief amount of time as he went crashing and collected a bunch of other cars. So Fernando Alonso with an absolutely terrible result here after a big crash coming to the line in Indianapolis. So not a good result for Fernando and a big hit, but thankfully he was okay, and we would end up getting P37 after Fernando was in the top 10 for a majority of the race, but unfortunately not the finish to show how he ran. We still got one race left in the regular season for the Xfinity Series, but obviously now we're going into the final regular season race here for the Cup Series. We've got 3 wins, I believe, coming in to this race, so hopefully we can get a 4th one here today. Unfortunately, though, like I said, Indianapolis is a track I've always struggled at, so I wasn't really confident coming into this race. And as we come through qualifying out of turn 4, heading down the front straightaway, it was actually a decent lap. It could have been a little bit better, but as we came through down the straightaway, a very long straightaway coming through to cross the line, we get a 48.499, and we will start the regular season finale from the 16th starting position. So hopefully we can get up there and have a chance to maybe win here in the Brickyard 400.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series has finally made its way to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the running of the Big Machine Vodka Brickyard 400. The Brickyard now marks the final stop of the regular season, a spot normally held by Richmond. So, for those drivers on the fringe, kissing the bricks may mean a lot more than in years past. For them, a victory here may be their last shot at glory. Which of these drivers will make the final cut? It's time to head down to the track and find out.
Alright, we're ready to go green here for the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis. Ryan Blaney failed technical inspection, so he is sent to the back of the field. Haley Deegan also failed optical scanning station multiple times, so she will start in the back as well as we move up one spot to P15 as we get ready to go here in Indianapolis. And my mindset in this race was simply win or wreck, because we struggle so much at this track that I didn't really expect much out of it at all. So I said, okay, we're either going to win this race or we're going to crash in this race. Now, as it's the regular season finale, nothing really matters for us in this race. We're easily locked into the playoffs now as we head down into turns 1 for the first time. Brad Keselowski out front right now as he tries to get a Brickyard 400 victory as we ride behind the 21 of Paul Menard, who got into me a handful of episodes ago, but we kind of forgave him for that by now as we actually fall down to P16 behind Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as we also have Daniel Suarez on my right hand side as we come down the back straightaway with Jimmy Johnson looking at my right rear. Some news coming up soon in the next episode actually regarding Hendrick Motorsports with Jimmy Johnson and William Byron now as we go down into turns 4 side by side with Daniel Suarez closing in on the back of Michael McDowell as we come out of turn 4, making contact with Daniel Suarez just like we did coming to the white flag last episode in Darlington there, as we would lose a lot of momentum due to that incident there with Suarez, and we would drop down to P20 as we went down into turns 1. But we wouldn't let that phase us as we came through out of turns 1, making just a barely amount of contact with Jimmy Johnson looking to the inside of the 41 of Daniel Suarez again as we tried to recover those positions that we had just lost. And we would get up to P11 here as we came to lap 7 of 11 in stage 1, looking to the inside of Kyle Larson, trying to work our way now to inside the top 10 as we would really be able to utilize the draft really well, as it's really important at this racetrack, and it helps me a lot as we would move our way now inside the top 10 as we pass Larson with 4 to go in this first stage, and we would get up to P8 now, looking to the inside of Paul Menard on lap 9 of 11 in the stage, moving up close to Boyer now, as behind though there's trouble, and it's Ryan Newman who goes spinning through the infield grass, and he hits the wall, and up the track he goes into Daniel Suarez in the 41 car, who goes around up front as a caution would fly, and that would end stage 1 early here in the Brickyard 400 as we get P8 in the first stage as Kevin Harvick wins stage 1. We would come to pit road to take 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires as Harvick gets ready to lead the way to stage 2. Harvick yet to get a win this season, but he's locked into the playoffs now. Joey Logano's the only guy that's not safe. If we get a new winner today, Joey Logano will be out of the playoffs unless that new winner is Joey Logano now, as stage 2 is underway as we head down into turns 1, immediately getting down to that inside lane because the outside is just an absolutely atrocious lane at Indianapolis and pretty much every track, unfortunately, in this game, especially on restarts as we come through turn 2. Harvick easily clear for the lead as we come down the back straightaway. Once again, I lose a good significant amount of momentum as we head down the straightaway. Keselowski looking to my right-hand side in that Penske car as we head down towards turn 3 behind the 21 of Paul Menard there. As you see Eric Almirola behind, we wanted to get revenge on him, but we didn't really have an opportunity to do that now as we come through down into turn 4. But if he gets in front of me and I'm on his back bumper, there's certainly going to be some revenge being paid now as we come through out of turn 4, looking to the inside of Paul Menard as we go through to take the 8th position as we come down the front straightaway, closing in on the back of Truex and Joey Logano as we head down towards turns 1 here in the Brickyard 400 on lap 2 of stage 2. Elliott second behind Harvick. Third is Kyle Busch as we come through now out of turn 2, still side by side with the 21 of Paul Menard as we also look to that left rear of Joey Logano, but we fade in behind him as we come out of turn 2, still battling side by side with the 21 of Paul Menard, with Kyle Larson in the 42 behind me as he battles side by side with the 2 of Brad Keselowski as we go down towards turns 3. Menard not wanting to give up that spot as he's doing a brilliant job holding on this top lane as we come through out of turn 3, still side by side with the 21 car as we fade in behind Kurt Busch as we come through the corner, but finally we would come out of turn 4 and get clear of Paul Menard as we head down the front straightaway. And we would work our way up all the way to P5 now, passing Joey Logano for P4 as we just continue to work that draft and use the inside lane as we came through on lap 7 in stage 2 as Logano, he would put up a good fight as Harvick continued to the lead as we went down into turns 2. Elliott and Truex side by side for a brief moment there as we stick our nose up the inside of Truex for the first time I think in our career. We're in the top 5 at the Brickyard 400, so having a career run at this racetrack as we come down side by side with Logano. He has a ton of momentum down the back straightaway as we go down into turn 3 as we look to that left rear of the 22 now as we come through out of turn 3, and as we came down the next lap down into turns 1, still side by side with the 22 of Logano. We would touch the apron a little bit and get sideways and make a save, but Kyle Busch comes through to hit me in the rear and we would get an even bigger save, but we would lose a ton of track position as that certainly went bad, but it could have went worse if we would have went around. So we hold on to a top 15 and we would easily run the next group of cars back down. We would get to Denny Hamlin, look to his inside as we went down towards turns 1. So just a little mistake on my part completely takes me outside of the top 10 as we close in on the final few laps of the second stage. And we were in trouble because we need to be far up the field because we're going to have to take more tires than the AI will at the end of the stage, and that's going to put us down into probably the mid-20s as we go down into turns 3 on the inside of Austin Dillon, and the caution would come out as the stage would end early, just about as we were catching Eric Almirola, as I was kind of planning a revenge plot on him. But unfortunately, Kevin Harvick, he would win the stage, but unfortunately we would have to take 4 tires and drop down to P26 for the final stage here in the regular season as the green flag is out, and once again we are underway here in Indianapolis. And like I said at the beginning of this race, it's really a mindset of just win this race or wreck, trying, because it's the final race of the regular season. Anything goes for us at this point as we're just trying to get any more playoff points possible. So now as we go down side by side with Cody Ware, we're going to do everything we can to work our way forwards here and at least maybe get a top 10 out of it. But like I said, I want to win this race or wreck, either one, as we come down the back straightaway. We probably don't have the speed that we need to win this race, but we're going to give it everything we have as we battle alongside the 51 of Cody Ware as we head down into turns 3 behind David Reagan. And as we come through the center of the corner, we're going to just barely stick our car up into that little hole that was there, as I'm certainly being a little bit more aggressive than usual at this point in a race. But like I said, we're just trying to get forwards as quickly as possible as we look to the inside now of Chris Buescher, making a 3 wide with him in the 41 of Daniel Suarez. As we come down the front straightaway, Suarez clears the 37 as we head down towards turns 1. Kevin Harvick, I believe, still in command at this point as we come through the center of the corner. Now looking to the left rear of Daniel Suarez as we head down towards turns 2, and it's actually Joey Logano in the lead now after Kevin Harvick has clearly fallen out of the lead. Logano up front, he's looking for win number 1 on the season. Last season in our career mode, he made the final 4 and had a chance to win the championship. He came up just a bit short, obviously, as Harvick won the championship, but now we would work our way up to P17 by the time we came to lap 29. As we go through turn 3 and 17th, and there's trouble behind, and it's Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who goes hard into the barrier after blowing a right front tire, and he would go spinning as that would bring out the caution again late in Indianapolis with Joey Logano in the lead. No one coming to pit road, so obviously I'm not coming to pit road, and this gives us a chance to maybe get towards the top 10 now as we're ready to go green late in the regular season finale. Less than 10 laps to go, and at this point it's really just all full-on aggressive mode as we head down towards turns 1 with 8 laps to go, immediately taking a 3 wide with Hamlin, and now looking to the inside of Blaney. A very ambitious move on my part, a very late move, which could have ended pretty badly, but we make it work now as we go down into turns 2. Blaney still on my right hand side, as is Boyer on his right hand side. 3 wide as we come out of turn 2, as we make just a tiny bit of contact there trying to side draft Blaney, as he does get clear of me though as we go down the back straightaway behind Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney as they battle side by side for a brief moment as we go down into turns 3, closing in on the final laps of this regular season finale in the Brickyard 400. Looking at the left rear of Ryan Blaney as we go down into turns 4, making a 3 wide with him and Chase Elliott once again now as we come out of turn 4, running Blaney a little bit wide there as I was having a bit of a tough time turning the car, as I was also just being really aggressive, so I was just adding on to how hard it was for the car to turn, as I was just putting way more throttle into it than usual, trying to get as much speed as I can out of this car as we come down through turns 1 and turns 2 on the back bumper of Clint Boyer. And as we go down into turns 2, we're going to send it up the inside of the 14 and the 2 of Boyer and Keselowski. We push into the 14, and contact is made as we go spinning with Clint Boyer now towards the inside wall as we get airborne and hit the inside wall with our back bumper. And thankfully, we would take very little damage as it's only 1 second to repair, so we would not DNF. But obviously, myself being too aggressive has completely costed us a good chance of a good finish in the regular season finale. 100% my fault on that one, as I knew the car was struggling to turn, but I still went for it anyways, and unfortunately I took myself out and Clint Boyer, as that was 100% my fault now as we head down the front straightaway here with just now 4 laps to go in the regular season finale. But obviously we're down in P37 now, pretty much nothing happening for the rest of this race for us, so it was really just bringing the car home at this point. I said to you guys at the beginning of this race, we're either going to win this race or we're going to wreck trying to win, and of course we wrecked trying to win at a track that I always struggle at. I wasn't surprised one bit, as we always struggle in the regular season finale here in Indianapolis, so it was nothing new to me. And as we came through on the final lap, still running P37 behind Parker Kligerman as we went down into turns 1, as we would look to his inside and blow right on past him like he wasn't even there as we go down into turns 2, closing in on the back of Ryan Truex. So certainly an unfortunate last 2 races. Darlington started off real good, and then it went wrong, and then kind of like this race, Indianapolis started pretty good for us, and then it went wrong here within the last handful of laps. Of course, Darlington wasn't really my own doing. This one was 100% my fault here as we come through turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time here in Indianapolis. Once again, we're going to bring it home with a very rough finish in Indianapolis as the usual, as we come down the front straightaway side by side with Ryan Preece, closing in on the right side of Brendan Gaughan, as well as we make contact as we come across the line to get a 33rd place finish in Indianapolis. I wasn't too disappointed, because I didn't care if we didn't win this race. It was just the regular season finale where we're already locked into the playoffs anyways. It was just kind of get through this race and set our sights now on the playoffs, as Joey Logano wins for the first time this season now, as he will obviously be in the playoffs. He was the last guy in on points, and certainly we had a few surprise winners recently. William Byron, Jamie McMurray. Unfortunately, that kicked Alex Bowman and Austin Dillon out of the playoffs because they didn't have wins, so that's unfortunate for them. But certainly we're about to see how close this playoff grid is, because it's going to be a close one. Last season there was 4 drivers, including myself, that were just far away from everybody else, but this season it's completely different here for the playoff grid. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. As you see right there, the playoff grid. You can't see 16th, so you would go down to the full standings here, and 16th is William Byron. So he's the last car in the playoffs right now, but there it is. We are 20 points to the good going in, or actually 21 since Johnson's 1-0, but we're 21 to the good going into the first round of the playoffs. A lot less than last season, so it's going to be a fight right down to ISM Raceway when we decide the Final Four. So it's going to be a good playoffs, I think. Maybe one of the best we've had in career mode. So I will see you guys in the next episode for Las Vegas and the start of the playoffs. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.